Welcome to SAT TV's news. I am Shanna Esprey, your presenter. Among the major developments, disaster management evacuation simulation test Dominican's readiness, Gatlin shoots down bolt in Rome, top US intel official challenges report that spy agencies mined internet data, and in sports, ACS Tarish United advances to DFA's All-Ireland semi-final round. Details of these will follow.
Me say we just get the remedy for the pagan them. Me just get the remedy for bad mind and jealousy. Who want to see me dead? Me just get the remedy. Suck TV. Jam me say. You don't know what Javinci you watching Suck TV. Lord, is it straight triple dose.
Welcome back. The subject of challenging air and sea transport has been of great concern to the heads of government in the region. Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, Minister for Public Works, Energy and Ports, represented Dominica at a 3-day meeting held on May 27th to the 29th in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt said the region is looking broadly at the issues confronting both sea and air transportation.
And we believe that it's important also for us in CARICOM to develop an air transport policy that would assist in regulating and defining issues of pricing, issues of competition, issues of subsidies.
He noted that the government has a strong case against Trinidad and Tobago regarding its support to Caribbean airlines. The Prime Minister feels this places unfair competition with LIAT.
So these are issues that we have to address. But I believe that these issues can be addressed through the creation of an air transport policy. And also we have to continue encouraging other member states to be part of LIAT. But not only member governments, but beneficiary investors, the hotel industry. Where is the Caribbean Hotel Association in the mix of all of these things in respect to investing in LIAT?
Mr. Skerritt called on the Caribbean Hotel Association to play its part in the development of transportation in the region by creating a team of business investors to contribute $100,000 with the benefit of gaining a stake in the airline. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves acknowledges that implementation of a fast ferry service in the Southern Caribbean by the private sector along with the government assistance would be a risk worth taking. Gonsalves, who has led responsibility for the transportation in the Caribbean community, believes that regional governments can help private investors by offering them various concessions. In other stories, the natives of the Kalinago territory are preparing to celebrate their 110th anniversary on the 4th of July 2013. The Kalinago Indigenous Nation Developers, a non-profit organization established 2 years ago, are the facilitators of the event. Ms. Charlene Elize, Events Coordinator, explained what activities will take place.
We came together and we have decided to have a 2-day activity to celebrate the 110th anniversary of the establishment of the Kalinago territory. The 2 days of activity will commence on July 4th, which is the actual date of the establishment of the reservation. We will begin with a second annual touch relay, where all the participants will be wearing the traditional Kalinago outfit, which is called a waiku, and it will be painted Kalinago paintings. And the relay will begin from the Sineku boundary and it will go through towards the Bataka boundary in the area called Big River. Following this activity, we will have a traditional costume parade, which will start from the Big River boundary back to the Chief Jolly John Memorial Park.
The traditional costume will feature all the various aspects of the Kalinago culture, including carnival costumes, painted bodies with clay, and the daki. There will also be a formal ceremony where official dignitaries will be present to witness performances and speeches from various groups.
This year we're really trying to integrate everybody. It's not segregational stuff anymore. We want Dominicans alike because half of the nation is part Kalinago. And we want to invite all of them, all the sports teams out there to be part of it. So we're opening it this year. It's one day you can be Kalinago to wear a white coat, dress up and eat national food, or local food actually, Kalinago food. And so yes, no, it's not closed. It's open to everybody.
Kalinago Indigenous Nation Developers has also organized a Grand National Kalinago Family Fun Day on July 7th.
And on that day, we're inviting the entire Dominican public to come to the Kalinago territory to celebrate with us. We're going to be a Kalinago family together, and we're beginning with a traditional smoke ceremony. One of the things that we're doing, we have invited a Native American Kalinago queen from Miami to come to celebrate with us, and that's what she does. She does traditional ceremonies, and hopefully she'll be doing the Kalinago smoke ceremony with us. We also will be having traditional Kalinago lunch. So if you're in the territory on that day, you'll be able to enjoy traditional Kalinago meals. And it will be prepared right there on site in the traditional ways. You will get cassava bread, you'll get roast fish, vegetables, and everything. To be healthy meals, healthy eating.
Ms. Elize made mention of the different games and competitions, including dominoes, that will be played throughout the event.
Would you say that events like this brings unity into the community of the Carib territory?
Yes, it does very much, because the entire community, they get involved, they get to work together. And we want to really bring on the awareness and to sensitize people about our culture and our heritage, and to really evoke a sense of pride in everybody.
It is the organization's intention to continue building on this event to make it a part of an annual national affair. In more news, according to Mayor of the City of Roseau, His Worship Cecil Joseph, the main reason the city floods easily during rainfall is due to its age and the technology that was available 50 years ago to build the drains. The city can be considered old, he added.
And a lot of things that have been built in the past are now dropping. So you have a lot of construction on the streets where they are now broken because of the heavy equipment and heavy vehicle that passes on this roads every day. So you'll find that a few slabs are broken, and the majority of it's broken. Whenever it rains, it blocks, and then you see a heavy flow of water. But it's not because of the drains. The drains are there, until years. So if anybody criticizes the fact that the drains are the cause, that means that the person just coming to the city of Roseau. I want to say that we have a lot of work to do. Both the city council and public works, basically central government, to see how we can rehabilitate some of those broken slabs, those broken drains, and see how best we can make it possible for less floods.
The mayor recommended that the central government allocate a percentage of the license funds from the Inland Revenue Division. He pointed out that if Dominica has 30,000 vehicles, approximately 16,000 commute through the city on a daily basis. I would like to see some kind of revenue be given to the Roseau City Council to assist in the rehabilitation of such projects, paying particular attention to the many potholes that litter the city, the mayor added.
It's too long that we have to depend on central government, and central government have so much more work to do. That is to say that they have work in the areas of of infrastructure, they have work in the area of education, in health, and a lot of the monies that they have to use, they have to give certain consideration. But in terms of the city of Roseau, I think if central government is to give us at least 5% of the money that's been generated from motor vehicles, we could be able, or we should be able, to not only work with public works, but we can always get another company to come in. So it means that it creates more employment to come in to assist in doing those necessary work, and also to give us the opportunity to be able to negotiate and make it cheaper.
This proposed idea will create better results for the upkeep of the city. This plan has not been fully discussed with the central government, he said. However, there were discussions with the International Monetary Fund, in addition to numerous consultants who are in support of the idea.
I just feel that it's high time now in getting the city council to take much more responsibility and see how best they can work together, public works, in solving that problem, or working with another institution in getting that sort of problem solved.
The National Petroleum and the neighboring companies, in collaboration with the Office of Disaster Management, Fire and Ambulance Services, Police Department, undertook an evacuation drill today, Friday, June 7th, 2013. This was conducted as part of their Hazard Awareness and Safety Week program. The purpose of this drill was to test and evaluate the collective responses of individual businesses to a possible disaster in the area, as well as to observe their safety protocols. Speaking on the simulation, Mr. Hesketh Brumant, Dominica's terminal manager of the National Petroleum, expressed satisfaction on the response of the National Petroleum during this simulation.
The last time we had the exercise in 2008, the response time for the fire department was 10 minutes. This time around, it took 7 minutes. So there's an improvement of 7 minutes for the response time for the fire department.
What did you think contributed to that?
One, according to information I received, well, is the road improvement one, and the cooperation of the motorists that cooperated in clearing the roads and allow them to go through.
Planning began a month ago under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Management.
Oh yeah, within 30 seconds of observing the fire, the alarm was struck. We called the fire department within 45 seconds. As incident commander, within a minute and a half, I was on the scene assessing the situation. There was an injured guy, and as part of NP standard, to ensure that our staff are trained in CPR and first aid response, we conducted CPR on the guy, so that by the time the fire department came in, he was in a good condition. And secondly, the fire was contained within 5 minutes by my staff, using fire extinguishers and the hydrant system we have.
They will look at ways on improving all areas of their response during these situations, he added. Assistant Superintendent of Police attached to the Traffic Department, Mr. Patrickson Albert, Crisis Manager, said, after receiving the call at 9:30 a.m., within 10 minutes the task force was at the scene. He explained that any time there is an emergency in this area, The persons should be evacuated at least a mile away, as the area is very volatile with fuel and other flammable storage tanks.
Well, people are very curious and they will always, haven't seen anything, they always come close. But upon the arrival of the police, we try to get them out as far back as possible.
And how would you rate the response of the emergency?
Response time, if the police arrive here within 10 minutes, taking into consideration traffic on a Friday, I think that's good enough. Although we can always better it. But 10 minutes within that time is good enough. Following this, we must look at it, what did we do wrong and how we can better it. But I think we tried our best.
So in terms of crisis management, specifically circumstances like this, what sort of things that you take into consideration before reacting and responding?
Upon taking into consideration, having received the call and taking the nature of the area, you must bear in mind that you go into danger. It's a danger zone, and you have to bear in mind the people here and the safety as well. Your safety is paramount as well. You have to bear that in mind as well. But still, you as the police, maybe you have to go forward and do what you have to do. Safety of the people is very important.
Mr. Albert reiterated that all businesses located in this volatile area must have guidelines of what to do during such emergencies, and they must practice their drills very often. In other news, on the evening of Thursday, 6 June, 37-year-old Elton Later was ordained by Bishop Gabriel Malzier at the Newtown Catholic Church.
Dear son, before you enter the order of priesthood, you must declare before the people your intention to undertake this office. And so I ask you, do you resolve, with the help of the Holy Spirit, to discharge without fail the office of priesthood in the presbyteral rank as a worthy fellow worker with the order of bishops in caring for the Lord's flock? I do.
Father Later, born on November 11, 1974, is from the farming community of Girondel. He was a student at the Girondel Primary School and later attended the St. Mary's Academy. It was there he considered becoming a Christian brother. He continued his studies at the Clifton Dupini Community College, then later began his career as a teacher. On August 19, 2001, he was involved in a major accident, obtaining multiple fractures to his spine. In August of 2005, subsequent to the accident, he joined a religious order called the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, commonly known as Redemptorist, beginning his journey on becoming a priest.
Do you promise respect and obedience to the diocesan bishop and your legitimate superior? I do. May God, who has begun the good work in you, bring it to fulfillment. Amen.
Father Later will leave Dominica soon to continue his ministry in Trinidad, where he has been working as a deacon. In more stories, Dominica's first ever Nature Island Challenge, hosted from May 21st to 24th, will be featured on NBC's World of Adventure Sports on Saturday, June 8th, 2013 at 4 p.m. Four-person teams from the United States of America, Antigua, and two from Trinidad, comprised of endurance athletes, hiking enthusiasts, and adventure travelers. They completed along 6 segments of the Whiting Kubuli National Trail, as well as some of the island's most popular eco-sites. Along the course, they took part in several mini and major challenges in various villages and communities that introduced them to the people and culture that is uniquely Dominican. With points accumulating daily for time and challenges, Team USA emerged as overall winner. This innovative event introduced Dominica to adventure travel fans all over the world and encouraged fan participation through social media. Teams were required to capture the thrills of the competition in still photos and videos, which was then posted on social media outlets such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, as well as the event blog www.natureislandchallenge.com. NBC World of Adventure Sports will feature 3 segments of the National Island Challenge, as well as a feature from Mike Escamilla of GoPro. NBC is ranked first among young viewers aged 18 to 49, with approximately 5.13 million viewers as rated by Nielsen TV ratings for the week of June 2nd. And in other stories, head of the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit, Mr. Ryan Ansem, is reporting that despite rigorous efforts by the Ministry of Agriculture to contain the disease, black sigatoka continues to spread.
The Ministry of Agriculture, together with the Food and Agriculture Organization and the CIRAD, what we have done, we've put what we call an integrated pest management in place, where it speaks to 3 main principles: sanitation, nutrition, and chemical control. And I want to emphasize on the sanitation. Sanitation would be the de-leafing process, where you cut off the infested leaves. And by doing that, you reduce the inoculation in the field. De-leafing has worked very well in Martinique, in Cuba, and Dominican Republic. And we want to encourage the farmers to visit the field, look at the underneath of the leaves. We want you to visit the field on a weekly basis. It's not monthly, it's not 2 months, on a weekly basis. Monitor the leaf and cut the infested leaves, place it upside down.
He claims by doing this, it will reduce its reproduction. We are also discouraging farmers from moving planting materials from one area to another. This contributes to how fast the disease is spread, Mr. Ansem explained. Continued spread of the disease shows that farmers are not complying with the management strategy of the Ministry of Agriculture.
The wind is also a source of spread. In terms of doing the assessment, we are saying that the means of spread in areas where we are currently seeing the disease is farmers moving infested materials to this area. For example, in Marigot, in the flat close to the airport, the disease has not been found. But when you go into the heights of Marigot, the disease is present there. So that is an indication that the means of spread is not by wind or by rain, but is the movements of materials. We are also telling the farmer to practice strict sanitation measures, go into the field, do all the weed control and all the pests, the borers, and the nematode control that will ensure that you have a healthy plant.
Mr. Ansem demanded that farmers and hucksterers who transport leafing materials to the Roseau, Portsmouth, and Mahu market need to stop immediately, as it aids in the spread of this disease.
And that is why we are saying managing the disease is not the Ministry of Agriculture's responsibility only. We want everybody to come on board. Black sigatoka is a threat to the banana industry. It is not a joke. It is serious business, and we want people to know that black sigatoka is still in Dominica, and the Ministry of Agriculture is doing all its effort to manage the disease. But we cannot do it alone. We want the general public to come on board and the farmers to play their part by de-leafing and practicing all the management practices. We are also asking the farmers and the residents backyard farmers that have abundant fields, that if you do not want to produce bananas or you want to go into the production of bananas, engage the Ministry of Agriculture.
He believes the abandoned banana fields are excellent sources for reproduction and can reduce the number of abandoned fields in Dominica. This will require cooperation from the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the general public. Black Sigatoka is in the east, south, the southeast, and slowly moving into the north under the community of Marigot in the northeast. There are also unconfirmed reports of its existence in the village of Wesley. And in court news, after pleading guilty to the charge of wounding 46-year-old Franklin Peltier, 50-year-old Gaspar George of Pichelay was advised by Magistrate Bernard Paquette to deal with problems without violence when he appeared at the Roseau Magistrates Court on Friday, June 7th. According to the facts of the case, at about 5 a.m. on Monday, May 27th, Mr. Peltier and his sister were engaged in an argument at a house in Point Michel. She called her husband, Mr. George, who left Roseau and came to the house. When he met Mr. Peltier, he took a wooden baton from his bus and struck Mr. Peltier with it on his head and ran away. A report was made to the police, and when the investigating officer met Mr. George and questioned him on the incident, he explained he was sorry for hitting Mr. Peltier, who is his brother-in-law. He added if Mr. Peltier did not attack or come close to him, this incident would not have taken place. Mr. Peltier notified the court that the argument with his sister started over a piece of a pumpkin he accidentally used while cooking. He noted he was approached by Mr. George, who struck him with a metal object on his head and ran before he could say anything on the matter. Mr. George was fined $1,000 to be paid by August 31st, 2013, or in default sentenced to 3 months imprisonment. In more court news, Wesley Peter of Scott's Head was fined $1,000 to be paid in 2 months' time, or in default will be sentenced to 3 months imprisonment. This sentence was handed down to him by Magistrate Bernard Paquette at the Roseau Magistrate Court on Friday, June 7th, after pleading guilty to the charge of wounding Mr. Mervyn Robinson, an incident which occurred on Friday, May 31st, 2013. According to the facts of the case, a sum of $20 was borrowed to Mr. Peter in April 2013 after he asked Mr. Robinson for the money and agreed to repay him. However, when Robinson asked Mr. Peter for the money on May 31st, he cursed him and told him that he does not owe him any money and began stabbing him with a scissors in his chest and back. Mr. Peter was subsequently questioned and arrested by police after a report was made. In court, Mr. Peter stated Mr. Robinson was asking him about money when he gave him a radio but was never paid. In his version of the incident, he said Mr. Robinson came at him with a cutlass and he had to defend himself. Magistrate Paquette advised him that next time he should make a report to the police instead of taking the law into his own hands. And this week in Street Talk, SAT TV took to the street to get the public's opinion on the artist they would like to see perform at this year's World Creole Music Festival. Okay, what artist or artists would you like to see perform at the World Creole Music Festival this year?
I would like to see Rihanna perform at the World Creole Music Festival this year.
Why?
Because I like her songs.
What artist or artists would you like to see perform at this year's World Creole Music Festival?
Well, I would like to say they give Nassau Fontaine a try. You know, he's a Dominican, and for the past years we have World Creole Festival. And give Nassau Fontaine a try for us to see what he have. We was hearing him in other islands performing well and not in Dominica. So I hope they give him a chance this year and not wait for when he die to give him all his flowers. In Dominica we wait for when people die and we give them flowers. We say, oh, there was a good artist and stuff. Now is the time to give him his flowers. So I hope this year they watch him and give him a try.
Such as Tabu Combo and this kind of bringing down reggae. It's a festival. From Africa's sukus and them things like that, you know what I mean? That shares more of a culture in terms of Creole festival, you know.
I'd have to say Jamaican, and I believe we should have a lot more local artists too. Yeah, believe me, we have a lot of local artists. Believe me, our artists will be recognized in the outside. Recognized, you know, so I think we should have more pressure. Remember, it's a real Creole festival for the Jamaican, American stuff. I heard last year people were thinking of something. I'm asking for it or space that this is not Creole.
There are many Creole artists out there, so we have a plethora to choose from. So I think we can have more Creole artists on the lineup. I do not mind the reggae artists. I know some people complain and call it, but I do not mind the reggae artists. I think they attract a lot of attention, and so you need a draw, you know, something that really draws people into the event, and you draw them into the event, and then you can showcase all your Creole talent. One artist I'd really like to see is an artist from Haiti by the name of Bello. Great Creole music. He has Creole lyrics, although his idioms, his style of music is more contemporary. He uses different kinds of rhythms like reggae rhythms or pop rhythms, but his music is actually written in Creole. He's a fantastic performer. So I'm suggesting Bello for Creole Music Festival.
This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.